Next we have form. Form is a three-dimensional object or objects in an artwork that appear to be three-dimensional. So here's an actual sculpture. It's three-dimensional. We can walk all around it and see it from different sides. This is a painting. It is on a flat surface, but the artist has used shadows really well to create the illusion of it looking three-dimensional. There are also two types of form, very similar to shape. People get shape and form confused. Big difference here. Forms are three-dimensional. They have thickness. Those shapes were only outlines. So make sure you don't get those words confused. Okay, so these are now they're three-dimensional, right? We've got more than just an outline. We've got some depth to them. Okay, so it's not just a single outline anymore. They all have some thickness now. All right, Michelangelo is a wonderful artist who is amazing at showing form, very realistic. This is probably marble, and he took probably a chisel and hammers and tools of some sort and carved a big marble block into what looks like figures and fabric. It's amazing details. Same thing with this hair. Look at the hair. He was able to chip away the hair to make it look like curls, and look at the muscle definition. All from a big rock. Chipping it away. We call that subtractive sculpture, because we're subtracting the big rock into a form, into an object. This is a female artist from the Renaissance called Artemisia Gentileschi. She learned to paint from her father, and her paintings look like photographs. They didn't have cameras in the Renaissance. This is not a camera of any kind. Really, truly amazing photographic quality to her to her painting. Looks like a real people that we could walk in and around. So amazing way of showing form. Space. This is one of my favorite things to teach. I love space. Okay, so this is the distance or area between, around, above, below, or within objects. It shows depth. Ways to show space. Okay, so first we have negative and positive space. So if we had been in class, we would have done a really cool exercise about the face vase. Is it two faces facing each other? You see the nose and lips, or is it a white vase, like a candlestick holder? Another way is through overlapping objects, right? We're creating a very shallow space. It looks like shallow space. It's hard to tell because we've just kind of have them overlapping each other. So that's a way of showing that something is in front of or behind something else. This is the one, when you learn how to master this one, number 3, this is when your drawings become better and more realistic. So this is being able to show that an object, so using placement, so where you place things on the paper. So objects that are closer to us are placed lower. Objects that are further away are placed slightly higher. Size, when we have the same object, but one object is close to us and the next object is far from us, but it's the same object, it appears to be bigger because it's closer. And so that's why the apple in the front appears to be bigger than the apples behind it, because they're further away. That's part of the size issue. Details, that means when the object is close to us, we can see the details. As it gets further away, we don't see the details anymore. So that's what placement, size, and details. Where is it located? Where it's located, the size, and the details determine how close or far it is. And number 4, this one's always fun to teach, perspective. This is being able to take a rectangle and turn it into a room or a hallway, showing you how to add doors in a rug. Salvador Dali is an artist. You've probably seen these before, the Melting Clocks, very famous painting. And he is really awesome at being able to show depth and space in his artwork. So we've got these objects that are really close to us, up at the front. And then he's got this background that seems to go on forever. And then we've got this kind of oasis happening back in the background. And then this other one, this like tooth-looking structure thing, is not too far away from us. It's kind of in the middle ground. It's not super close. But then we've got this kind of mesa happening in the background. And then we've got some random floating trees here. Right, so really cool artist at showing space. Raphael, another Ninja Turtle, right? We already met Michelangelo, the first Ninja Turtle. Now here's our second Ninja Turtle, Raphael. No, not kidding. In case if you did not know, the Ninja Turtles are named after famous Renaissance artists. All right, so Raphael is also really awesome at using perspective. So this is another way of showing perspective. All these lines seem to lead to one point here, and even the lines down here, right? So we've got this really awesome angle in which we are using perspective. And then he's also got this beautiful painting of Madonna, called Madonna and Child. This is the Virgin Mary and Jesus. And even though this is his representation of what they would have looked like in the Renaissance period, during his own time period, they're wearing clothing of the Renaissance period. And then he's got like Italy happening in the background. But the space, the distance that he's able to show is really amazing. Value. This is the lightness or darkness of an object or color. So right here we have a value scale done with drawing pencils. If you are lucky enough to have a set of drawing pencils, they should have some numbers on them. Okay? The one that maybe the only one you recognize, for those of you who don't have a drawing pencil, might be this one. You might have had a pencil, your number 2 wooden pencil sometimes has this written on it, HB. Okay? And, sorry, I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. All right, so this is HB, this is our number 2 pencil, this is the pencil we use to take a test with, because, so to me, let me see if I have this on the next page. Okay, yes. All right, so H, to me, means a harder graphite. The graphite is harder, which therefore makes it lighter in value. H pencils make neat and clear lines that sometimes scratch the paper because the graphite is so hard and sharp. Okay, so we're going to say that H stands for hard. And you can see as the number gets bigger, the color gets lighter. Okay, B pencils, these are bolder, darker in value, and they are a softer graphite, so they're opposites. B pencils make soft and fuzzy lines and can feel very smooth when shading because the graphite is so soft. My favorite type of pencils are the woodless graphite pencils, so it's like a number 2 pencil, but instead of having wood encompassed around the graphite, the little stick of graphite inside, the whole entire pencil is graphite. There's no wood, so that's why it's called woodless. And they are so smooth because you're drawing with a much larger piece of graphite than the little stick that you're used to inside your wooden pencil or mechanical pencil, and they just feel like you're shading with butter. It's amazing. Anyway, so if you have shading pencils, if you've got B pencils, you can see it's almost like a number line. It's like the HB is the number 0, and here's your 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8, and then when we go this way, these are like your negative numbers, -1, -2, -4, right? So they get lighter, these get darker. And so yeah, your number 2 pencil, that's your HB pencil. They are a hard graphite with a bold value, and it's the only pencil to have both qualities, which is why it's used for testing. All right, so these are some cool things to draw and shade. These are shading techniques called hatching. These are parallel lines, so these lines never touch each other. We've got cross-hatching. These are crisscrossed parallel lines that create shading. The thicker you layer it, the darker the value appears. If you spread the lines out, it appears to be lighter in value. Blending, this is the hardest one to do because in order to get your color to blend and not really have those lines show up very well is a hard skill to learn. And then stippling, this is always everybody's favorite because you're basically just tapping, tap, 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 a billion dots to create the value in the darkness. Caravaggio, this is a really awesome artist. This painting can be found at the Kimball, I think it's the Kimball Museum in Fort Worth. and this is called the card shark or something like that. And he's really awesome. This is a really good artist at showing the lightness and darkness, right? It looks like we've got this bright spotlight shining on the figure right here holding the card, and then we've got the guy behind him almost in shadow, and then we've got a really dark left side of the room. But really cool, amazing job at showing lightness and darkness within a painting. Kehinde Wiley, this is another one of my favorite artists. I got to see his work at the Fort Worth Modern Museum several years ago. He's the one who got chosen, the artist is the one who got chosen to do Barack Obama's portrait, official presidential portrait. So it may look a little familiar. He has the same style in which he shows these kind of African American looking guys in Renaissance type paintings with these elaborate backgrounds happening all around. So he's amazing at showing, look at the muscle definition from his paint. So amazing. Such awesome detail. Look at these jeans and the highlights and the shadows from his use of value with his paint. Really, really talented.